But I will give you credit for being amazing. And does it mean I would like to learn more from you about how you use pressure release in different situations? Absolutely, I want to.
Sure.
But just because you use different verbiage for certain things, and just because you're exceptionally good at your style of doing it, does not mean you invented it.
Yeah.
And it does not mean that another person's style isn't effective.
Right. There's a bunch of ways to skin this cat.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
And every dog is different. Every dog is a little different.
Yeah. I always want to learn, but I don't want to deal with the...
Ego.
Listen, don't come at me crazy. Because I cannot and I will not. I will not be talked down to by a man.
Yeah.
No.
What about a woman?
No.
So fucking nobody.
But women don't try that as much.
Yeah, as much. You're right. You're right.
There are some.
There are
some.
Yeah.
And those women, I don't with those women.
There are some in the dog industry
Yeah.
that are very gung-ho about where they've gotten to.
It's so, and you know what? When you get really smart about it, you're like, you don't even look at it as they're being mean. You're just like, you're insecure.
That sounds serious.
Who is that?
Those puppies.
Puppies that you need to take home with you.
Oh, you want me to take one of those wild beastly dogs?
One of them, there's a little one. We've named him Little D. He actually looks like my dog. He's like some sort of like a pit shepherd mix or something.
Yeah.
And the other one's like some sort of shepherd mix, and like Little D's just like not having it. He's small, but he's just like not about like.
He's scrappy.
Not for no,
Yeah.
and he looks like Little Scrappy too.
Oh, I like that.
He
I
looks
like
like
that.
a Scrappy dude.
Yeah.
You should take him home.
He's
Yeah.
actually an
Do a
awesome
good
dog.
thing.
He's actually an awesome dog. I wish I could have taken him actually.
Why can't you?
My home's
'Cause
too
it's-
small. Don't even start with me. She'll watch
His
this
home's too small.
and I'll get shanked in my
And
sleep.
What's the other part? What's the other part of it?
My girl.
It was vetoed.
Yeah, it was vetoed.
She shut you down. She was like,
No,
no.
look. Honestly, our place is a little too small to have another dog, and on top of that, like fitting it into my lifestyle, like working here, I bring my dog with me to work every day. I really like that. Like having 2 dogs would be a lot, and blah blah blah. We're saving up for a home, so when we get a home, we're gonna get another dog. We'll probably have more dogs at that point. She works at UW, so she wants a fucking husky, and so we're probably gonna end up
That's
with
a very PNW
we're
direction
probably
to go.
gonna end up with a husky.
If you want a
I've
husky-
convinced her to get a Malamute instead,
Oh.
and so I don't know. I'm not that. I'm gonna edit this part out, but I'm not fucking excited about having a fucking husky or a Malamute. I'm not too fond of those
You're
types of
going,
dogs.
it's going to change you. You're going to love it.
But you're probably right. It
No,
might
not
change.
probably.
You think so?
I will admit one of my faults is I know when I'm right, and I know I'm right.
All right.
Wow.
You know what?
That's my fear, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's
I know
my fear.
for a fact you're going to love it, and I can't wait till it happens so I can be like, I was right.
Fucking
and I
told
will
you
not
so.
forget.
No,
Wow.
honestly, I believe you, and that is
Mm-hmm.
my fear. It's like I'm on the fence about huskies and Malamutes. I'm like, wow, fuck these fucking dogs. And then my girl's gonna get one, and I'm gonna start training it. I'm like, whew.
You're gonna love it, and it's gonna make you grow in ways that you didn't even know you needed.
I have a
to
feeling
grow.
it's gonna challenge me in some different ways too.
It is, but there are gonna be other ways that you're like, wow, this is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's one person on my Instagram. Her name is Molly, and she goes out and she sleds all of her huskies.
Oh,
she
sick.
takes. Oh, you got to see her. She's incredible. Her dogs have the best recall of any dogs I've seen. There will be elk, and she recalls back. She has a Malinois. She has all of these incredible dogs,
Yeah.
but definitely huskies.
Right.
And she talks about getting the huskies used to sledding, and she had one husky that didn't want to do it, which was hilarious. But right now, the shelters are flooded with huskies.
Yeah.
And so Sherry keeps pulling huskies. So Sherry, I call it the second chance at Love Iditarod. She hands them over to Molly. Molly lives in Utah, obviously a lot of snow, and Molly's out there just has all of
Huskies.
these.
See,
She
but
has
you're
so many
fulfilling
huskies.
that's what they want to do. That's what they're supposed to do. We that much snow out here, man. How am I supposed to sled my dog
But
through
there
what, the
are
sand?
other things she does in the months that there aren't snow. So I'll send you her Instagram.
Okay.
She's so incredibly talented.
All right.
And then if you want a husky, I mean, Sherry has like 1 million. So
Really? Okay.
when you get your house.
Yeah.
So speaking of homeless dogs, Sherry took this one husky that was a homeless dog, and she kept it. His name is Odie, and he's an amazing dog.
Yeah.
He's incredible. Same thing. Great exposure. He's a pain in the ass because he's a husky,
All right.
but he's amazing and very forward and just like socially so good.
See, I've never seen. Well, you know, we have one husky. Penny is actually really.
There's a few huskies that have been here over the time that have been really good dogs.
Really?
Really.
Penny's the only one I've ever seen where I'm like, but she is like a husky shepherd mix, I think.
Yeah.
You could even bike a husky. Yeah, you bike the husky if you can't.
Have them
Sled
pull
'em.
you on a bike.
But there are meetups for sledding.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have to do something like that just so I feel like I'm fulfilling this dog's like urges and needs, I guess.
Right, because you don't want the containment phobia because those dogs break out more than any
Yes.
other dog.
I had
Right?
I had a neighbor that had a husky. They never walked or did anything. That dog would always get out. Eventually, it'd end up getting hit by a car and passing away. But it's like most huskies I've ever seen, shit recall, hella feral, always want to run away from the handler. I guess that's why I've always been like, man. Fuck.
If you can get a husky, just think about if you can work with a husky and get a husky to a really cool place, think of how much more developed as a trainer you'll be.
Yeah,
That's true.
for sure.
Now,
Yeah.
don't tell me to get a husky.
Yeah.
Why?
Someday I'll probably have one.
He said that to me about my dog. My dog's a mutt, and
Yeah.
he's like a shepherd staffy mutt. And we were talking about like PSA and IGP and all these like dog sports. Like what you'll see most of the time is like purebred, like Dutches, shepherds, Malinois, and stuff like that. He said, if you can get your mutt to do all the things that those dogs do, and then once you get your purebred Malinois or shepherd, it's going to make you that much better. And so now I'm like, well, maybe I should just get mutts and train them really well. I can be the mutt master.
The Mutt Master, that's a good business name.
He said it, and I'm just capitalizing on it.
Oh my gosh.
But I was like, yeah,
Mutt
I was like,
Master
man,
LLC.
what if I
Oh, do it.
LLC? Yeah, so in my head, I'm like, man, maybe I still want like a Malinois or something like purebred, but maybe I should focus my efforts into making amazing mutts.
Mutts
be a
are
cool-
great.
Yeah,
Mutts, you don't even know what you're going to get. You'll hear all these breeds that the mutt is, and they'll be nothing like any of them.
Yeah.
And they'll just be happy-go-lucky, and
Yeah.
you're like, how did you get like this? You're a Chow Akita, you know.
Chow Akita
you're a
Chihuahua.
Chow Akita Chihuahua, but you're the coolest dog in the world.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I
mutts
mean-
are weird like that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, just as a test
Mutt
to my
Master
skills.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
You got your business name.
Speaking of business name, P&W Dogologist.
Yeah,
What are you doing with that?
I specialize in dogology.
Yeah.
I like that dogology.
Yeah.
Where are you going with that? Where are you going with your business in general, honestly?
Oh, we always have this conversation, and I say the same thing every
I
time.
know, but they've never heard it. Out
Well.
in TV land.
YouTubeville.
So the difference between you and I
Uh-huh.
is you want to world dominate.
I don't want to dominate.
Yes, you do.
Don't project that on me.
You projected it onto yourself. No, and I like to be low key because I like to travel. I like to do
Yeah.
workshops,
Yeah.
and I think about liability too much. So
Sure.
for me to leave my business and have someone else manage it,
Right.
and you can't really leave because of the overhead. You have to be working constantly.
Right.
Sure.
It's not for me. Like, I love a good work-life balance. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
to be able to travel. All of my clients know I'm going to give you top-tier service, but guess what? I'm going to leave every 2 to 3 months. And here's the thing. If I did not leave, I would never get a day off.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. And that's like, you could say, well, that's because you're mismanaging whatever. Okay.
Time management, man.
Well, if you could manage your business differently. You could have
Yeah.
different, you know what? I like to flow with
That's
life.
fine.
Hell yeah.
Do that, but where are you going though?
I am going in all the places that I'm happy to be.
Hell yeah.
I go all the places I'm happy to be. So I get to do things a lot of trainers don't get to do. I get to go to Sherry's pretty much every 1 to 2 months. I get to watch her work with a variety of different clients. So going to her isn't just about watching her work the dogs, which she's incredible at. It's also about how she communicates difficult truths.
Yeah.
I've actually, within the course, I've used a lot of the same things that she has said because it's just so effective when you're explaining certain training aspects. Watching how she relates to clients, that is a huge part. Even if you audit and are not doing a working position, you're like, oh, that's a great way to explain it to that client. That is a wonderful way of, of telling them that they're emotionally dumping or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect to it. You get to watch her work all of these dogs. We get to do pack walks, which that's my thing. I love it. The pack walks are my favorite. I will always enjoy it. I like the shelter dogs. I love that. And then I get to be in a community, which community is so important. Like, you're not going to get far. You're not going to reach goals. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't have community. And I isolate too much. That is a problem. So, so when I go out there, I feel community. I feel like it's a safe environment, a positive environment, and I get to be around people who think the same way. And in reality, as a trainer, we're weird out there because we're like sitting here thinking about different dogs. We're constantly thinking about dog behavior. And when you get around normal people, they don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you're with people that think the same, you feel so much better.
Yeah.
And then when you get around people that are normal, you start talking about, like, you don't talk. And then they start talking about their dog, and you're like, really? What?
Yeah. You do the same thing
now
all the time.
Of a sudden,
yes, I like this topic.
Yeah, you're like, I can talk about this because this
Yeah.
is literally what's in my brain from morning to night. So being in a dog community, you're not going to go far unless you have it.
Yeah.
So I get to do that. Plus, I have friends in SoCal, and they're all amazing trainers. They work with a variety of different cases. They have different styles. We go kick it. I have so much fun with these people. I go to Orlando, and I bring quinoa.
Go to Disneyland.
Which eventually...
She goes to Disneyland like every other week.
Fuck this.
Disney
not
World,
every-
right? It's Disney World.
It's World.
Disney
Get
World,
it straight.
yes.
Wait,
Disney World.
which was the one? World in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to go to Florida so bad.
Oh, it's swampland.
Oh, I want to go there so bad.
Yeah, well, anything's possible.
All right.
Right? If you don't get a facility.
What? That has nothing to do with going to Disney World. Okay.
I tried to get you because we were going to work dogs.
I will go to Disney World. I don't have a problem going to Disney World.
He's not going anywhere because
But-
he has a facility that he has
yeah,
to manage.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I can leave. I can leave.
How-
I can
you
shut
do-
down
I
for
kinda-
a few days.
He says that
You
all
say that,
day.
yeah,
He
but you're-
says,
But I can though.
I know you're here
knows-
every single
No, I
day.
am
though.
because this is my favorite place to be. That's why I'm here every day.
Okay, but have you worked a dog at a theme park? That shit is wildly
I've
fun.
never worked a dog at Disney World before, but I've gone to a host of other places.
Okay, well,
I don't think what is more stimulating than Disney
World?
World?
I don't know
Thank
if there
you,
is.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
You might be right.
You got rides, you got people, kids screaming. There's
got
hella,
alligators.
there's hella shit going on. Like I
I
can't
mean,
even
little
think of
things
it.
like I was telling you. I mean, you can train your dog on escalators and all kinds of things.
So
but
can
what
she.
about the gondola? They have gondolas. You get on and they float through the air, and the dog has to get on while it's moving. So there's different things going on rides. I was telling him there are things you wouldn't even anticipate. Like there's a ride I took quinoa on, and like smoke comes out. And I had never worked her through smoke. And she was like, and I'm like, but our relationship trumped that. So we had worked on everything else so I could work her through that. But there's so many things you wouldn't expect.
Have you ever taken anyone else's dog to Disney World? Not your own dog.
No, and I want to. In fact, I want to. But I'm starting to get clients in Orlando.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick.
So I have a training session I'm going to do at this next trip next month. And I'm going to be there with my friend who started off as a service dog trainer.
Uh-huh.
Now she's doing behavioral work, and we're
Okay.
bringing both of our dogs.
To Disney World?
Yeah.
That's gonna be
When is
dope.
this? You told me before, but remind me.
I told you before.
Remind me
It's
though.
at the end of May.
At the end of May.
Yeah.
You want to go to Disney World?
No. I fucking hate Disneyland.
You know what? I do too. But
The last time I
if
went to
could
the
take
one
my
in California,
But you never went with me.
Let me
yeah,
tell you, I had the
yeah,
worst.
look,
Only thing I remember
never
about
went
going
with
to
a dog,
Disneyland as a kid is I remember standing in line for like 8 hours for the Indiana Jones ride.
That would never happen with me, because I would never allow that. I have everything.
Yeah,
planned. You're
Disneyland's
not
not.
gonna
It's
be-
not fun to me. But taking a dog might change the perspective on what it's like.
amusement park. Yeah, having a dog would be dope. I
Yeah.
fucking hate music. I don't even like going to Puyallup Fair. It's trash to me.
I don't like
it
going
so
to
much.
Puyallup Fair. What are you talking
I
about?
don't- I
There's
don't
no
like-
comparison.
I don't like these little rusty ass rides that people just
I know
ride.
people are gonna die.
Yeah, I'm like, there's like
People
a
don't die at
16-year-old
Disney
kid, like over. Well, I don't know when the last time they've had like a.
First of all, a kid got ate by a crocodile in Disney World.
How many years
Damn,
ago?
what
Doesn't
was
matter how
that?
many years
And were the
ago.
parents?
It's never happened to a
Parents
kid.
weren't parents if they got
monitoring their
snatched up by an
child.
alligator.
You shouldn't have to monitor your child at the happiest place in the world.
It's
okay?
not. So, by the way, Disney World is the most magical place on earth, and Disneyland is the happiest place on earth. Okay.
She knows. There's nothing happy about it. Every time I go, I'm like, give me the.
That
fuck
is not
out of
true.
here.
I bet you a lot of money, and I will win, so pay up, that if you went with me, you would have an amazing experience.
Okay.
I would like to go with my dog. I would like to see how my dog behaves in that type of
But
environment.
I've already told you what the hardest thing is for dogs, in my opinion.
What did you say?
Going past the bomb sniffing dogs, because those dogs are nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Those dogs they have the worst, most psychotic, neurotic energy, and they need to have that energy to do that job. They like the most intense, drivey, and so those are the bomb sniffing dogs, the drug detection dogs, whatever they are. Having your service dog go past those dogs is a huge test.
yeah.
Especially if you hid your drugs on your dog.
What? Oh yeah, good point. That could be a problem. Well, but I don't think they do drugs. I think it's more
all
bomb,
bomb
sniffing.
detection,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what those dogs do. But those dogs they're crazy. You can
Yeah.
see it. They got that one
That one crazy eye
like
that
that
twitches a
crazy
little
eye.
bit.
You're like, ooh wee, and the handler just kind of smiles. Whenever I go past with my dog, the handler will have his crazy dog, and he knows it's a challenge. He knows.
He
So
can
he'll
put
walk
2 hands
over,
on the leash.
he comes over and he puffs up his chest and is like, let's see if this dog can get through it. And Quinoa's like, I don't give a fuck about you, I'll kill you. And then she just keeps walking, right? And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Certified.
that, I think those dogs set off dogs quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So even if you worked your dog just at the entrance, that would be yeah. But the difference between Disney World and Disneyland, which my friend Maria told me, by the way, because she's the service dog, well, she started off as service dog trainer, is that you can bring service dogs in training to Disney World. So Orlando is a huge hub for service dogs because of the amusement parks, because it's such good exposure.
Yeah.
So they will bring puppies, and when they're not ready to touch the ground, they put them in a stroller. Just to get used to the atmosphere, the noise, the fireworks, everything. It is a huge hub for service dog training. Yeah.
Man.
And but they allow service dogs in training in World, but they don't allow it in Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could put a service dog in training vest on your dog, and work it in World if it's not at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About to get one of those vests anyways.
I think we should go. I think we should take a
I
team
know.
trip to Disney World.
Diego would,
Diego.
if Diego was here right now, he would shit on himself. He'd be like, what? He already's fucking poking at us about Hawaii all the time.
Yeah.
So
He says why?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Oh,
he wants to go to
Hawaii.
Yeah,
Hawaii.
he's 12.
Bringing a
He's
service
12
dog to
years old.
Hawaii. Oof.
Bring a dog on an airplane.
It's not that bad.
How did that go?
With my 2 dogs?
Yes.
It was a challenge because honestly, my younger dog wasn't really ready, but
Yeah.
I really wanted to go, and so I just took him, and I didn't do anywhere near the amount of preparation I should have done,
yeah.
and so the trip there was challenging, and I could tell he was nervous. He was like unsure. Like even on the plane, he didn't settle down until like well after we took off.
Oh.
And then he finally kind of settled down. And the other one, he's been on plenty of trips, and so he was perfect. But my younger dog, he wasn't ready. But on the way back, he did 100 times better. 100 times
Yeah.
Knows what the knows.
Do you
what to
guys ever
expect.
do training on Metro?
on the bus.
We've done environmental training with we don't like we do board and trains, but we do like doggy daycares.
We've done the
We've
train.
done the light rail.
Oh, nice.
The light rail
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, the light rail is same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bus is, I feel like, more challenging.
Yeah.
But we're getting ready to do some stuff because I have a few dogs that are trying to prepare their dogs for going on a plane.
Okay.
So we're probably going to do like a pack walk type thing, like at the airport. I'm just working through those environmental stuff.
It's funny how you may think your dog isn't ready for something, because like when I brought Larry David home, we were in the airport for like 7 hours or more because the flight got delayed. I worked him through so many things.
Yeah.
Like I know he's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you worked them through the things at the airport.
Absolutely. I had no choice.
That's what I'm saying.
And I just got this guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I guess we're going to work.
Yeah.
And so I took that whole time to work him in a variety of situations. He was perfect with humans. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I like taking trips with my dogs, because that is by far the most quality working time I get with my dogs.
And it's
when I take a
one-on-one.
trip.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else is interfering with that time.
Yeah.
It's just you and your dog, and the relationship
Gets closer.
grows stronger and stronger. It gets deep. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But you can't really take trips if you have a facility.
I'm taking trips. Taking trips.
We're
okay?
taking a trip in.
Not just to Disney World.
We're taking a trip in August.
Okay.
I guess.
As a matter
Where
of
are you
fact, I might
going?
go to Disney World next month.
We'll
Oh,
see
yeah?
about that.
I will consider that.
Wait a minute. When's the seminar? In August?
Yeah, seminar.
What
not till August.
seminar?
We're going to this seminar in Idaho. It's for police canines and like bite work people.
Yeah.
Trying to get some
Have
more
fun.
decoy knowledge.
So we're gonna do that in August, which will be
It's
fun.
not that I wouldn't be interested. I mean,
think
I
you would.
am.
I'm so
you would
stoked
do
about
it
it.
one day. You'd be like, oh my gosh,
I would probably like
it'll
it.
feel like a whole new world,
Yeah.
like Aladdin.
I don't want to be closed-minded, but at the same time, one of my trainer friends, she did a whole thing. I think she did like Larry Crone and Jay Jack or whatever, and they had this thing where they did bite work. I'm pretty sure it was this one, and everybody would drink. Why would you drink and do bite work? It was at night. Everybody would have some beer or whatever, and then they would do bite work, and I'm like, I don't know if this is safe.
I think that's a thing. It's kind of like
Yeah.
like drinking and doing fireworks on the 4th of July.
It's just
Very
Like
like,
an extra level of danger there.
yeah, like
Yeah, I
it's
don't
the
think it's-
adrenaline or something.
Yeah, it's a thing. I feel like when I was first introduced to bite work, I feel like that's what it was. A bunch of older guys drinking and hanging out and doing bite work stuff, and just it's like a outlaw
It's a
thing.
dude. It's like a bro.
Yeah,
A bro
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
community
Very
that I
much
don't
like that.
understand
I
because
know.
I'm like, this isn't safe.
You're right. It's
You
totally
guys,
not safe. Yeah.
or you're gonna get bit. They're
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
that's
hell,
what we want.
bite work itself is just dangerous in nature, but
I have respect for it.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a lot more respect for it now. No, bitten with protection and without protection. Sometimes when I have protection on, I'm taking a bite. I'm like, dude, this dog.
Like it's you feel they would completely destroy you.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But some dogs, like, you're in the bite, you could tell, like, they're stoked about being there. You can see it in their eyes and whatnot. It's when you take the equipment off and you're, like, playing with the dog.
And you're
like,
looking at them like,
yeah. Well, you like because that's
know about
that's
you.
what a lot of the times when I got a like if I don't even if I have like a gauntlet on under like my and I'm like messing with a dog, like, are you really gonna get me or are you just playing? Like how about this are you, like, testing your testicular fortitude, if you will? Like,
oh, I have
Like you-
never heard that.
are you gonna
term.
You never heard that term?
Testicular fortitude.
testing the dog's mettle essentially? like,
Yeah.
are you
I'm
gonna
not
are you gonna
thinking of it in that respect.
Are you gonna get after me without seeing the equipment, this big old pillow on my arm? Like how about this are you? That's where things get like dicey, but like, God, it's so much more beneficial for the handler and like the dog. I'm like, if you want a dog for real protection, That dog needs to see that picture that person doesn't have to have equipment on for me to be like, hey, go get that.
Right.
And so it makes me mad nervous when we do it, but it's always a good telltale sign, like how with it are you? And a lot of dogs, I haven't seen a lot of dogs that.
Yeah, it's the intention.
The intention. We've had that one Doberman that came in here wanted to eat you alive.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you might eat your arm and they like bark at it, but they ain't really not gonna commit. So I get kind of excited when you have a gauntlet on and the dog just like, oh wow, you really about it. You really fucked me up. Okay, I like that.
Okay. And so they're coming, so you have your full suit on. You're like, hey guys.
Yeah, but when you got a full suit,
take a bite. You should take a bite.
You got Macho with you?
I imagine what it would be like, and I feel like the force, feeling that force. Obviously, my imagination and experiencing it are two different things.
I think you would like it.
See, that scares me.
My first bite was by this Rottweiler that we have in here. And I remember I had wanted to do it for so long, ever since I got a dog and started doing like obedient.
This could bring out a real dark side.
I know.
Maybe I don't want that dark side coming out.
When I took my first bite, I was like, I'm doing this forever. I'm doing this
You're
forever.
like, yes. Is it the adrenaline?
It is. There's an adrenaline aspect.
There's an adrenaline aspect, but that's not what gets me jacked up about it. Honestly, it's something else. Maybe I don't even know. I don't think I've ever really actually thought about it, but I guess it's the journey more than anything. Yeah. I like seeing dogs go from like the flirt pole and the jute rag, from that to just putting on a sleeve, and then they're just like, okay. Now the ball's rolling. Yeah. Now we can start applying a little bit of pressure to you and changing up the equipment and switching up the picture and then once the dog goes from the jute and the flirt pole and the sleeve and now they're hitting the suit, like, makes me happy. It makes me like proud.
You see the same thing in obedience, honestly, when you're working with the dog.
Right.
It looks different too. It's just like. You get this shy dog that's in his shell, like, oh, I don't know, like, I'll bark at you a little bit, I'm not really sure, right? And all of a sudden you fast forward and this dog is like...
It comes alive.
It comes alive. The dog's super confident. It's like, oh, I will get you. I know what this is. I know how to end you. Like, watching that progression of a dog go from super shy and unsure to... I will mess somebody up.
This is who you really are.
Yeah.
This is your destiny.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are, and then all of a sudden they do. Yeah, that would be very fulfilling
the
to
confidence
see that.
that you get to see that builds in dogs when you're doing bite work. Like, for my dog in particular, like, man, it's like a tearjerker moment sometimes.
Yeah, I believe it. I think I would understand it, like, because I had a Rottie, and obviously someday I would like to have another one, but I have a goofy shepherd. Like, I don't want him to do bite work per se.
Sure.
I just want him, to be really good exposure, neutral, and everything, so I can travel with him. But I know that if I had my Rottweiler and he would have done it, and I saw him do it, I would have been like,
yes, it is.
That's how I would have felt.
I would have been like, first time I watched Marcus put on a sleeve and my dog just attached to it like a magnet. Thinking about it now, I can feel all the same emotions. I can feel all the same emotions now. I'm like, I was so proud. I was like, fuck yeah, Hawk. Like, that's what the fuck you're supposed to do, mother.
Yeah.
Like, get in there, buddy. Fight that arm, man. Like, get him. Don't let go. Just like stay in there, man.
Yeah.
And that's
it's like a pride. I think this is very much a working dog feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if that's your goal with the dog, and like maybe it was hard in the beginning to get them to come out of that shell, and then they had that moment where it clicked. They came out, and that confidence just like carried them through everything. Yeah, that's it's an amazing.
Tell me
amazing
this:
moment.
after you do a bite work class, and you take the dog home, how are they? Are they just so fulfilled? Are they just like, can you just feel like this?
My dog sleeps the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And it's different. Like, tonight's bite night.
Yeah.
We'll probably work Hawk after this, probably, because I notice every time after bite night, he's super exhausted. He's tired. He goes home. He goes straight to his kennel and he goes to sleep.
Right.
He's fulfilled. He did all the things he wanted to do. He got to bite, play, run. Every other night we come home from work and he didn't do bite work and he didn't get to maybe put in as many miles on a walk or on the treadmill. He's in my face the rest of the night.
He's like, what are we doing next?
Yeah, like what's
What are we
next?
doing
Like
next?
that wasn't enough. Like what's next? And so yeah, it makes me feel I have definitely a like.
What do you do when he does that?
What do you mean? When he
When
still
you're
has
at home
energy
and
to
he's
go?
like, what's next?
Then we go and do something.
Why not put him on place?
Yeah, with all the new information I've gotten from you now, I'm gonna apply that now because before I had never really thought about that. But you're right. I'll try that and I'll let you know.
Impulse control, as you well know, because you do a lot of it, will exhaust a dog 10 times more.
Mentally, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mentally, making them slow down, making them stay in one spot, especially when they're like a strong breed dog or a working dog and they've never been asked to stay in one place. It will exhaust them so much more than a 2-mile walk, a 5-mile walk. And then you're just building stamina.
Right.
So the more that you do threshold work, making them wait and calm down, and each time you do threshold, you ask for a little bit more calmness, a little bit more calmness, a little bit more calmness. I mean, dogs, the dog I worked recently is just panting the whole time, like,
That's so annoying. I hate that.
and they're just like, I just can't, and when they leave, they pass out because they've done nothing physical, but impulse control.
Yes.
So I would just practice place at home
Yeah.
and then make it his spot. That way when you're at home, he's not in your face.
Yeah.
See, this is where I come in, right?
This is what you call a dogologist.
This is where you call the dogologist. But honestly, it's about living with your pet
Right.
and having, your dog not in your face next to you, kind of commanding everything all the time.
Yeah.
You can't work your dog all the time. You're doing so much fulfillment for your dog already. There's no guilt.
Right.
So asking your dog to go to place or putting your dog up in the crate, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah. I guess I just when he's in my face and he's like I feel like he hasn't been completely fulfilled for the rest of the day. I mean, I don't ever think to just like, hey, just go over there and just chill, and let's manage your energy. Yeah, you're right. I guess in my head I'm just like, I didn't have this information before, so it was just go do something.
See how it goes.
I will.
And he'll probably try to get off, and there's different ways of dealing with that. You could do a session where you use low stim, even with a lead, and just do some movement and then have him get on the place, have him get off, right? Have him get on the place, have him get off. And you can do 10 to 15 minutes, put him up in the crate so he absorbs.
Yeah.
Then you start to gradually increase proximity, or not proximity, but duration of how long he's on the place board until the point he learns that that's relaxation. So then what you are able to have is a dog that can be high drive, but you can start actually working him to where he has an off switch.
Yeah.
Because I know that you work on that off switch with the bite work that you do. But even at home, they need to have an off switch.
Yeah.
I mean, in the working dog community, like doing the bite work stuff and the protection or even bomb detection stuff, you have I talked to some canine officers where their dogs are just on go all the time. Like there's not, and I think when you look at like the working dog community, they have these high drive dogs. They go do the work stuff, but the dog has no idea how to operate in a space like this. Like go lay on this dog bed and just hang out and chill out somewhere. They don't know how to. Very rare do they know how to do that.
Yeah.
Because they don't work that side. They have very good technical and sport obedience, but they don't have home manners or
Home training?
home training. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't know what you want
That's
to
what
call
I
it.
call kids. They don't have any home training.
Domesticate.
Yeah.
this
They don't
thing.
have that part, and honestly,
Yeah.
it's a challenge sometimes. I will say like my Corso, like Papa, he can do that. He can absolutely. I can take him anywhere. He can go hang out, and then we can go out and do some working stuff. My Dutch Shepherd, not as much.
Yeah.
Like not as much. We've done a couple hotel stays with him. He doesn't do great. I always have to put him in
But
the
that's
crate.
why if you practice this at home,
Yeah.
it's just like kids. You practice the manners at home.
Yeah. I don't do that.
I think her tactics would benefit Macho a fuck ton.
It would.
It complements each other. But think about these high drive dogs, these handlers, they don't ever want the dog to not be high drive because
Yes.
the dog can't perform.
Which is why I don't.
Yeah, that's
Not
what I
yet.
assume.
But the thing that concerns me is it's like when the dog is always up here, that's not a happy place for a dog.
It is for him. He's like going 100 miles an hour, and I even with obedience, I haven't taught him a ton of obedience because I want him to stay at 100 miles an hour. There will come a point in time where I start kind of capping some of that energy, but it won't be until I'm happy
But
with
why
some of the
is
things
having an off switch? I don't think with a dog like that, teaching it an off switch is going to affect the work.
That is another great training debate.
Okay.
That is a very great
I mean,
training
obviously, I
debate.
don't work with these types of dogs,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
But I will say the old school method of it was you do nothing with this dog until it's biting and doing the stuff exactly the way that you want it to do it. The more modern way now, there is some element of teaching the dog behaviors that are going to transition into more of the obedience concept. But you have to do it in a way where it's still high drive obedience. Like it's still like you're teaching these behaviors in high drive.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to control the dog in high drive pretty much.
But you would need an off switch. You would need
I will
that.
say that a lot of the
For
working
safety
dogs,
reasons.
they don't have an off switch where the dog is chill. They have a little bit of compulsion. They have a little bit of like, I can tell the dog not to bite, right? Because for safety, I don't want the dog to just get triggered by something moving and take off and try to nail some 90-year-old lady with her groceries.
Right.
And so they have some basic commands: stay out, whatever it is, or leave it alone, whatever you want to call it.
Even though in those canine videos where the dog has a hold of somebody, they never have an out.
Tomorrow in the police officer videos.
They never have
That's
an
because
out.
that's the last thing they teach them.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a bite stick, when you have something, like, they don't know, they can't get the dog off it. And I've seen those videos where it goes for the wrong person.
Yeah.
And they can't get it off the person.
Yep.
Police officers' dogs are
crap.
not a great example of a
Yeah.
working dog.
It's disturbing.
Because
Isn't that the workshop you're going to?
But
No.
but wait, it's kind of supposed to be that for them, like in a
I
way.
think for
like,
them, they want a
you
more
don't
wild
want
dog.
you don't need that obedience. You want that dog to be fucking looking
Yeah,
for
but
a target.
if it's holding on to the wrong suspect or the wrong person,
yeah,
that's a problem.
That is a
Yeah.
problem. I mean, shooting the wrong person is a problem too.
Yeah.
True.
So
I feel like it's with that
But-
if you're gonna have a dog that is going to be high drive, its obedience is like meh, but it's like biting like a champ, that you need to be the shit at being a handler, so that you
but
don't have a
being
liability.
a handler means that you can get the dog to release somebody if you need them to.
maybe I think that's more obedience.
Oh dear.
Wait. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, right? Because there's a difference between managing a situation and actually having the dog to the ability of being able to out the dog, stop on
Which
the
is an
dime.
off switch,
That is,
essentially.
essentially. But if your dog doesn't have an off switch, you can still go out there and have a successful career as a working canine if you have a handler that knows how to manage this crazy ass dog that doesn't have an off switch.
Yeah.
So
that
with a
make
bite
sense?
stick, what are you saying?
It doesn't have to be a bite stick because if
I've
he
seen
bites the
cops
wrong
do.
person, why does he need to if he bites the right person, why does he need to let go?
But if he bites the wrong person, he needs to let go.
Correct, but if you're a good handler, he's not going to get an opportunity to bite the wrong person.
Listen, it is a walking weapon,
Yeah.
Correct,
just like a gun.
absolutely. So what?
I don't know. I just
I hear what you're saying. I kind of agree. I think the amount of control, if you have a dog that's going to be like, you send this motherfucker on anybody, you need to have that off switch. I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
And I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, and I accept that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't worked with this type of dog.
Sure.
But at least from my limited perspective,
Yeah.
there is a way to have a high drivey dog and an off switch.
There absolutely is a way.
Yeah. But are you afraid might
I'm thinking
compromise?
about it from the perspective of a police officer, and I'm not a police officer.
Yeah.
But if I had to rely on a dog for my safety and the other people's safety that is in my side of the fence,
But
is
you
me
don't
and the other
just
police
have a
officers. Right?
dog. You have a gun.
No, 100%.
You have other weapons.
And they all have guns, and sometimes they do shoot the wrong person, right?
Right, but it's not like the dog is your only mode of defense.
Correct. but it's a less lethal mode of defense.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
people die
understand a
from
bullet
yeah, exactly.
versus a dog, but
Yeah.
she'll be jacked up. You know, you're
Yeah,
gonna need
correct.
some real surgery.
100%. And that's actually a strong debate that's going on countrywide right now about
Yeah.
police officers and canines and whether they should have them or not.
Yeah.
Because of there's this lack of an off switch or a lack of control.
Well, one of the biggest disputes I've read is the dog alerting, and alerting allows the police officer to do things based off a supposed alert. And then, you know, there's so much controversy about what an alert means. And if the dog alerts, like in a court situation, the dog alerted, so I was allowed to search the car, right?
Yeah.
But what technically is an alert? Have you heard this before?
I've heard a little bit of it.
I've read this whole debate, and I'm just kind of like, if the dog is alerting, supposedly alerting, the police officer can say, well, it alerted, and it really didn't, but it gives them the legal ability to search or do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. And a lot of the times you don't even.
They just need a dog. Oh, it alerted.
Yeah,
Oh,
they did.
search the vehicle.
Yeah, we're saying that for probable cause so they can go through your shit.
Right.
Hey, before you get up and go and tend to this dude. Yeah, let's wrap it up because our cards are about to get full here.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta go. That's wrap up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
comment,
my
share,
car's here.
subscribe.
You know, he's got a facility, so
We gotta tend to this place all the
Thanks
time.
for tuning in. We got P&W Dogologist over here.
Tacktown.
Might have to do a part
Tacktown.
two.
I know. She's
Might have to do a part.
She's a talker. I told you. She's a
Yeah.
talker.
Yeah, I've got more
Whatever.
information. Yeah.
Well, it's better I'm a talker than not.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
All right. Well, it's cool talking.
Yeah, I like talking to you. He doesn't tell me anything. He lets me figure out trial by fire.
You just watch him fumble
Yeah,
it
yeah,
around.
he does. Yeah, no, okay, yes, you fucking
I let
do.
him take his bumps
Thank
and
you.
bruises,
Yep.
but you know, the best way to learn how to ride a bike is by falling off, right?
Not wrong, but
You're so old school.
Thank
You're
you.
So,
Yeah,
that
you
is
are.
So, that is, whatever.
trial by fire.
Thank you for the lead.
Oh yeah, cool.
I'll let